Please give me a baby. They said I'm barren and I cannot have a child.
The morning the whispers became louder than her prayers, Temi felt something change inside her. For 7 years, she had been married to Ao. 7 years of smiling at other women carrying babies on their backs, while her own wrapper remained flat. In the beginning, love was enough. At night, Ao would hold her close and remind her that she mattered. And she believed him. But love can be strong and still become weak under pressure. The whispers in the compound started softly. Women lowered their voices when she walked past. Elders sighed in disappointment.
A woman's crown is in her womb.
A woman's crown, she would say, is the child she carries on her back. Temi carried silence instead. She tried everything she could. Herbs from midwives, long fasting, midnight prayers whispered into the dark. Yet every month ended the same way, with quiet tears. One evening, as the sky turned orange, her mother-in-law entered their room without knocking. "There is still hope," she said.
Stand up and go to Osun River to ask for a baby. It's never too late.
Temi trembled. Everyone knew the stories of the sacred river in Osogbo. The river answers prayers, but it never gives without a rule. That night, Temi asked Ao if he would stand by her. He told her to go, but to obey whatever the river requires. So she went. The journey to the river was filled with fear and hope. When she arrived, the air felt different, sacred. An elderly priestess in white stood waiting. "The river hears you," the priestess said. "But if a child is given to you, she must not touch this water until she turns 20. She must never step into it out of pride or curiosity." Temi's heart stopped.
Please give me a baby. They said I'm barren and I cannot have a child.
Temi knelt down. She accepted the rule. She bathed in the shallow water. She prayed until her voice broke. And she returned home lighter, because she had surrendered. 3 months later, her body began to change. Hope slowly grew inside her. By the 7th month, even her mother-in-law's voice became softer. By the 9th month, the whole compound rejoiced. Temi gave birth to a baby girl with bright eyes.
We name her Sade.
The house that once felt heavy now overflowed with laughter. Sod grew strong and clever. She loved stories, especially stories about rivers and spirits. But whenever the river was mentioned, Temi would gently change the topic. "There are places we honor from a distance," she would say. Sod never understood why her mother looked afraid whenever water was discussed. When Sod turned 16, she became curious about the river festival. Her friends talked about the dancing. She wanted to go. When her mother refused, she became upset. "Why can't I go? I am not a child." But Temi did not explain. She only said no. On the day of the festival, Sod followed her friends. The river sparkled beautifully. The music was loud and joyful. The air felt alive. "It's just water," she laughed. And she dipped her foot in. The sky changed. Clouds gathered too quickly. The wind rose. The drums stopped. A strange silence fell over the crowd. The water tightened around Soda's ankle like a warning. At home, Temi suddenly dropped the calabash she was holding. Her heart pounded. The storm that followed shook the entire village. Trees bent low. Roofs trembled. The river rose, not to destroy, but to remind. Sod collapsed by the riverbank. They carried her home, weak and burning with fever. She spoke in her sleep, whispered about voices calling her name from beneath the water. Temi's world began to fall apart. Mama Ao cried openly. Ao stood frozen in guilt. "The rule," he said. "We did not guard the rule." Temi finally told her daughter everything. The vow. The promise. The warning given before she was born. Sod looked at her mother with weak eyes. I didn't know. And Temi realized something painful. Protection without explanation can become danger. On the fourth morning, Temi dressed in white and returned to the river alone. She knelt at the edge. She told the river she had been ashamed. That she asked for a child because she felt less than other women.
Please take me instead of my daughter.
Let it rest on me, she said. The river was silent. Then a gentle wave rose and touched her feet softly. Not cold. Not angry. Just calm. Temi returned home unsure of what would happen. But that evening, Soda's fever broke. The storm stopped. Days passed. Years later, on Soda's 20th birthday, Temi took her back to the river. Not in fear, but in respect. This time, she told her daughter the full truth. Together, they stood at the water's edge. And Sod stepped into the river, not carelessly, but with gratitude. The water remained calm. Temi watched her daughter laugh freely. And she finally understood. Some gifts require obedience. Over time, Mama Eo changed too. She began telling other women not to judge daughters-in-law by their wombs, but by their hearts. And Eo learned to speak when it mattered. As for Temi, she no longer saw herself as the barren woman. She became the woman who learned that worth does not come from pressure. It does not come from public approval.